Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right. Welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin, and I hope you had a great weekend. It is Tuesday, the 18th, 2022. And I hope you listened to my last interview with Ben Azadi. I think it was a great interview regarding keto. So if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and check that out. And then hopefully you listen to the small micro podcast before that regarding strength training. We're going to touch a little bit on that today. But the main topic is how to boost testosterone naturally. And this is something that gets thrown out around. It's sort of a hot topic. And obviously, as a male, as you age, and even as a female, it's important. And you want to keep an eye on it as you go. It's something that decreases throughout your life, as we all know. Get your levels checked for sure. If you haven't done a hormone test, you should. And testosterone is one of those things that it actually peaks in your late teens, and then it'll gradually decline once you hit 30. So normal testosterone levels can vary from person to person. I think a lot of it has got to go off how you're feeling. And we'll talk about some of the symptoms of low T. But the male body actually needs to produce the right amount of testosterone to maintain optimal physical, sexual, and mental health. And so this hormone is essential for your fertility, bone and muscle strength, even your mood. So what is the right amount? And what are typical testosterone levels? So like I mentioned before, this is something that you're going to determine through a blood test. And essentially in the United States, it's measured in what's called nanograms per deciliter of blood. Typically levels are around between 264 and 914. Nanograms per deciliter. And that's considered healthy in a normal male. Now, that is quite a wide range, 264 to 914. And I'm going to touch on where maybe you should fall depending on how old you are. But like mentioned before, once you hit 30, your testosterone naturally begins to decline, but it's a really gradual process. For most men, it decreases about 1% per year. By the age of 70, testosterone production of the average man is 30% below its peak. And that's by the age of 30. So it's estimated that at least 75% of older men still have testosterone levels in a normal range. So you might be in a normal range. You're probably wondering, what is that? I'll just say testosterone levels for a 40-year-old, which I obviously looked all these studies up, 252 to 916. And then as you get older, let's just say to compare that, if you're in your 60s or 70s, 60s is 196 to 8559. So it's actually not that much different. The low range for 40s was 252. The low range if you're in your 60s is 196. But it's definitely worth getting tested. And symptoms, what type of symptoms should you look for if potentially you have low testosterone? And some of them could be lack of sex drive, erectile dysfunction, fatigue, problems sleeping, decrease in muscle mass, brittle bones, loss of body and facial hair, could be some irritability, memory loss, or depression. Now, I wanted to touch on ways that we could naturally increase testosterone. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And a lot of different opinions around that. I'm going to give you sort of the top ones that I found. And one of them, and this, I'm not surprised by this, is improve your sleep. Because most of your testosterone is produced and released during sleep. So you want to aim 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And if not, this is so crucial. We've talked about this before. Come up with a good sleep routine. This is something I work with all my clients on. So exercise and sleep. And number 2 is exercise. Those two things, is the best way to boost testosterone naturally. Um, Exercise regularly. And I would say this includes obviously weight training, resistance training. So important if you listen to my other micro podcast on how it can actually change your gene expression. But the obvious advantages of exercise, building muscle, burning fat, improving strength and endurance, even helping with some flexibility. And then add in the bonus of short and long-term testosterone boosting benefits. So I tried to find, and I found a few studies to show this. One study actually found that men who undertook resistance training 3 times a week for 4 weeks experienced increased testosterone levels immediately after the workout and over time. And then just by performing body weight squats, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, you can do all these things and exercise and grow strength, and this will help boost testosterone. Now, I also found, and I've always been a big fan of leg day, but now I know the real reason is you don't want to skip a leg day, because I found a study that compared individuals who just did upper body biceps, okay, compared to lower body and upper body. So it was an arm only workout group versus a leg and an arm workout group. Because I know there's a lot of guys out there that they hate doing legs. They don't want to do them. You always see those guys with the big upper bodies and they got skinny legs. I'm probably the opposite. My upper body, my lower body outdoes my upper body all day long. But I've also put an emphasis on it throughout my over 20 years of lifting. But what it showed, this study by the Sports Science and Clinical Biomechanics Institute showed that testosterone increases were significantly higher in those with lower body exercises as compared to just the upper body. So males or females out there, don't skip those legs. Other than sleep and stress, stress too, you obviously do not want to have chronic stress. But what I was saying was, other than sleep and exercise, here are some ways potentially to get it through your diet or through the outside. And one of them, if you could guess, when I talk about the outside, I talk about the sun, we're talking about vitamin D. So many individuals, obviously, especially in the Midwest here, I'm in Chicago right now, it's 20 degrees. I haven't seen the sun all day. We go for walks and stuff. But you really want to make sure that you get your levels checked for vitamin D, the so-called sunshine vitamin, because vitamin D is actually linked to testosterone. And according to one study, daily doses of vitamin D can increase your testosterone by 25%. So definitely get it checked. If you're not getting outside and getting sun, perhaps look for some quality supplementation. Make sure that's quality, because there's a lot of junk out there. Second to vitamin D is magnesium. And this sort of is a good preview for my next interview, which is going to be coming out on Friday with Barton Scott and Upgraded Formulas, where they actually measure your minerals and do a hair mineral analysis, which I'm going to get done soon. And so magnesium is so important. Essentially, it plays a role in over 300 different enzyme systems that regulate different processes in your body. So one of those is testosterone production. And studies have found that magnesium supplements increase testosterone, and the results are particularly dramatic in active men. Now, you're probably thinking, how can I get magnesium? One of the ways I would just get tested. I also, there's the upgraded formulas, Barton Scott, they have great magnesium supplements. And if you listen to the Friday episode, we'll talk all about that. But if you want to get it through your diet, one of them was the highest is pumpkin seed kernels, dry roasted almonds, spinach. So we got some almonds and spinach, definitely high in anti-nutrients. So you got to be careful of that, but you could boil the spinach and perhaps soak the almonds. Cashews, dry roasted. So these are ways that you could get it through your diet. But I do find, I think that in general, getting magnesium through your diet is difficult. So there might have to be some type of supplementation if you find out that this is something that you're deficient in. Zinc is another one. A zinc deficiency is associated with low T. And one of the ways you can get zinc in your diet is actually oysters. I'm not a huge oyster fan, but if you're not, you can get it through red meat and some poultry. Also beans and nuts, and certain types of seafood such as like crab and lobster also have zinc in there as well. But I think your best bang for your buck, if you do enjoy oysters, would be to get it through that. After that, the two were mainly things that you could probably put into a shake if you wanted to put into a shake. And then one of them is Maca Root. And this is something that I put sometimes occasionally into my shake, even though I don't make it that much anymore. And then ginseng. So extracts from ginseng and maca have shown to help reduce symptoms of low testosterone. While ginseng's been found to possibly boost testosterone production, there's been strong evidence that maca can boost sperm health and increase libido. So this is something that you could add in. You can mix it into your shake, and you'll find it in different extracts and powder forms. So make sure you're getting a quality one, organic. So that's what I wanted to touch on today. These were some of the ways that you can boost testosterone. I think first and foremost, focus on sleep, focus on resistance training, and then you can add in from there. Find out if you're deficient, first of all, in testosterone, if your testosterone levels are low. And if that's the case, either way, you can add in potentially vitamin D, magnesium, some zinc and maca, and perhaps even ginseng. So something you want to keep in mind, whether you're a male or female, because if you're having if you're having some of the symptoms that I mentioned, you might want to look into that and take some steps to improve your sleep and exercise regularly. So anyways, I hope this gives you sort of an idea of what to look for if you're dealing with low testosterone, and it's something that happens as you age. So keep an eye on that, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and look forward to my next one on Friday with Barton Scott. So thanks again for listening, and feel free, if you're loving it, would love a review, 5-star review. Looking to get more of those, and I appreciate it. So have a great day, and thanks so much for listening. Hey, Get Lean, Eat Clean Nation. Are you a man between the ages of 40 and 60 years old, looking to lose inches around your waist, have significantly more energy throughout the day, and gain muscle, all while minimizing the risk of injuries? Well, I'm looking for 3 to 5 people to work one-on-one with in my Fat Burner Blueprint Signature program, which I've developed by utilizing my 15 years experience in the health and fitness space. This program is designed specifically for those committed to making serious progress towards their health goals over the next 6 months. We will focus on sleep, stress, nutrition, meal timing, and building lean muscle. If this sounds like a fit for you, email me at brian@briangrin.com with the subject line Blueprint. That's brian@briangrin.com with the subject line Blueprint. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.